Hey, John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I got a question here from Gabriel, and Gabriel has been listening to some of the back catalog of the Entreprogrammers podcast. So you can actually find that here. We do a mastermind group of different developer entrepreneurs, four of us that meet every week. And he said that in episode 4, I encouraged Derek to continue in his pursuit of his own business empire, and you compared that to working for an employer. I can't find the exact spot in the podcast, but basically you made the comment that you can make the most money per year by doing consulting, but as soon as you stop consulting, you don't have income. So my question is, what if you're able to invest a large portion of the income in dividend-paying shares or real estate or some other form of passive income? Wouldn't that make consulting a better proposition than starting your own business? I particularly ask because I find doing some of the entrepreneur tasks difficult. I find it easy to work and produce while at work, and while I have specific tasks set for me, and I enjoy learning and studying in my own after work hours. However, I find it difficult to produce content or products outside of work hours without any specific tasks being set for me. To be honest, I haven't really tried for long, but I just find that the first option is my natural inclination. So what would be your recommendation to get a high-paying employee/consulting role around $200,000 to $300,000 a year mark? Then I can invest $100,000 a year for 10 to 15 years and have a very healthy passive income from investments. Would that be a viable alternative to being an entrepreneur? So basically this question is, do I have to be an entrepreneur? You don't have to, but let's talk a little bit about kind of what the concept here. So if you're a consultant, if you're working by the hour, when you stop consulting, you're going to stop making money. And yes, you can maybe make more money as a consultant at first, but as an entrepreneur, in the long run, you'll make more money. And let me explain why. So even if you made some ridiculous amount as a consultant, I think here, Gabriel, you said you want to find a job making $200,000 to $300,000 a year. That's going to be tough to do, but let's say that you could do that. If you find that job, right, you're kind of capped at that. You're still not going to rise a lot above that. And if you stop working, you stop making money, right? You're billing at an hourly rate or you're a consulting rate. Whereas if you're an entrepreneur and you build a business, you might start off just making nothing or pennies. You might be producing a lot of stuff and you might not be making a lot from it, but it has a cumulative effect because it's like building up a wall, like with bricks. Like you get to build on what you did yesterday. Whereas when you're a consultant, you're billing hourly, right? What you did yesterday doesn't matter. You've already been paid for it. It's done. It doesn't stack up that wall. But as an entrepreneur, as you build up products or services or things that a company, your name, you're creating blog posts or YouTube videos, you start to build up this wall. And pretty soon those things that you did like 5 years ago are paying you. They're still paying you. And everything that you end up building all these things that are paying you essentially passively while you're continuing to build more and more stuff. And that's really what I've tried to do with Simple Programmer, and it took a long time for it to pay off. I mean, I worked for many years without really making any money, and then now I'm able to make more money than I would have as a consultant. So if I made the trade-off back then and stayed as a consultant, it would have seemed like I made the right choice. But in the long run, you'll make more money typically as an entrepreneur. Again, that doesn't mean that you have to be an entrepreneur, but you should understand what the strategy is. The strategy for long term is to build up a lot of stuff. Again, I'll use the example here of doing these YouTube videos. I'm not making a lot of money from these YouTube videos. I'm making like $200 a month, but I'm paying more than that to produce these YouTube videos per month. But my plan is that like 3 to 4 years from now, when I have like 1,000 or 2,000 videos out there and a lot of subscribers, that I'll be able to generate a lot more money than this initial investment, and it'll continue to generate me money whether I produce new videos or not. That's the key. That's kind of the mindset and idea behind this. So yes, you could potentially get a high-paying job and invest in some dividend-paying shares of real estate. If you do that, that's essentially building a business, right? It's just a more of a passive business. But again, I've recommended this book a lot, and I only recommend it because it's got such good advice that I don't really find anywhere else. And MJ DeMarco, the author of this book, The Millionaire the Millionaire Fastlane, he talks about this. He weighs this out, right? He shows you the different paths in life, like the traditional path, the slow lane where you go in dead and you're just working a regular job or whatever, and then he's got the what is it called, the medium lane. I can't remember what he calls it, like, or the sidewalkers, right? Sidewalkers was the first one, and then the slow lane where you are like investing in real estate, or you're investing in stocks and you're using compound interest and you're still saving for retirement for years and years, and then eventually you get rich when you're too old to enjoy it. And then he's got the fast lane where you build a business and you become an entrepreneur, and that business accelerates your growth and you can make a lot of money. And so I think when you look at it from that perspective, you can see, I mean, you can choose your path. But I'm telling you that the slow lane path will take longer. There's a reason why entrepreneurs get paid more money. It's because they take a big risk and because it's really difficult. When you do an entrepreneurial thing, you can get paid, or you could not get paid, right? You could end up doing a lot of work and not get paid. There's one more point I wanted to address in your email, which is that you said here, and this could almost be an entirely different video, but I'll try to address it briefly, and maybe I'll do a longer one on this. But you said that I find it easy to work and produce while at work and while I have specific tasks set for me. And then you also said, that, however, I find it difficult to produce content or products outside of work hours without any specific tasks being set for me. So this is a very, very common problem, right? If I tell you what to do, you can go and do it and execute, right? And I would probably say this. If you're in charge and you have to tell someone what to do, you could tell them what to do and have them do it. But what you can't do is tell yourself what to do, right? A lot of wannabe entrepreneurs have this problem. A lot of people have this problem. So you got to a good thing I'm wearing a hat. So you got to take the hat, right? So you got multiple hats here. Let's take a second hat here. So you got to put on your hat, right? So you put on your manager hat, your thinking hat, right? And what you do is you come up with the plan. This is what I'm going to do. This is the strategy. This is what needs to be done. These blog posts need to be written about this topic. These videos need to be produced. This is what we're going to do. This is the plan. Then you take off this hat and you put on this hat and you do the work. And you just do the work. You don't worry about the strategy. You don't worry about anything else. You're tempted to do this, right? And you keep doing this, and that's why you don't know what to do and you're confused. Instead, you're wearing one hat at a time. You're either in the management role and you're planning out the course of action, or you're in the worker role and you're executing on that and not questioning it. That's what you have to do to be successful. Believe me, I struggle with it. Every entrepreneur I know struggles with it. But you got to set aside those two roles, and you can't second guess yourself, because that's where you have problems. And if you're like me, you can do either role well, right? When I've been a manager, I could tell my team what to do. I know what needs to be done. And when I've been an employee, I can get work done. But I had trouble doing both, and that's until I realized that I had to switch between those roles and make a clear distinction between the two, and not try to do both at the same time. That's where you get confused, and that's where you get stuck, and you feel like you don't know what to do. So anyway, I hope that helps you. If you don't want to be an entrepreneur, that's totally fine. I don't want to tell everyone you have to be an entrepreneur, but at least you should understand the choice that you're making and realize that you can do it. It's just that you've got to figure out how to do it. And you should make an active choice. Again, I'll recommend that book, The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. Really good book. Everyone should read that book just so you have an idea of these different choices in life. So anyway, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.